is gonna be a good day. You know why it's gonna be a good day? Because you see this reactor? I am the proud owner of it. Although, shout out to this legend. Would not be possible without him. Appreciate rallying it over. As you can see, like, you know, like, there's a bit of snow. Grant doesn't understand. I just hit 200 subs. I am officially an influencer.
Officially? 200's the goal mark, is it? Meow, meow, meow.
Petawawa reactor. Let's do it.
Hi guys, so right now we are December 15th and I just came back from the Petawawa with my reactor. It was really sweet to be able to test it on some lower volume whitewater than the main channel. So it's actually been a week now that I've owned the boat and I've only paddled it twice on two entirely different styles of whitewater. And I'm just going to kind of go over some things that I like about the boat, some other things that I might not agree with as much about the boat, and just kind of give you guys like a brief rundown of what I think of it so far. So before I begin this, I will be upfront and honest, and I will say that I am in no way affiliated with Piranha. So this is an entirely independent review, and yeah, so before people get mad at me in the comments saying, well, of course you like it, you're sponsored. No, I am not sponsored. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to go say that it is hands down the highest performance creeker that I've ever paddled. It's the most well-designed boat that I've ever paddled, and it just feels like I will be able to accomplish things in that kayak. It's extremely aggressive, so really hard chimes, edges that when engaged, it takes a lot to let them go, and that makes the boat really easy to track in a straight line when we're talking about big water. So something like Coliseum, once you point it at the features and you keep a good forward posture and a nice powerful forward stroke, once you point it, it just goes. Its narrowness though, on lower volume right water like the Petawawa and a rapid like Railroad, it really allows it to carve around really nicely, and the bow rocker really makes it jump on top of features. So for a rapid like Railroad, it was really fun paddling it in there because it could just like zip around in and out of eddies. It could boof low features with no problems, and it carried its speed very flowingly and very well in that particular rapid. So we talked about the edges, we talked about the chimes, and we talked about the bow rocker. Now, I haven't really had the chance to hit many actual good boofs in the boat yet. There were a few today on the Petawawa, but they're nothing really major that has a big feature at the bottom to skip over. But the couple of boofs that I have seen is that because the stern tapers very nicely at the back, pardon me, it's pretty easy to just load up that bow like with like a nice stroke, and you can really get that bow on top of features, whether it's a wave or you're just trying to get a late boof. So like an example of one of those late boofs that this tapered stern would probably help to do is drop number 3 of the Sisters. I've actually never run it, but from what I've heard and what I've seen people do on it, it seems like you want a late boof, and a tapered stern would really help to load that up and skip out. Now, however, that being said, the boat floats in a way that inspires you full confidence in it, which is good, but it also gives you the impression that you're in a full creek boat. Now remember, Piranha's intentions for this boat was for it to be a pivotable creek boat, so a little bit like the Indra, a little bit like the Puffy Steez. I'm sure it is pivotable, but if you take somebody like myself, you know, I'm a small guy, and I've been working on stern squirts in my antics, and I've been getting closer and closer, but on the Ottawa, I remember trying to sing the stern, and I wasn't really that close to it. Now, that might just be a skill issue, but just to say that so far what I've seen, the stern doesn't necessarily, it's not a boat that you would go out and stern squirt on a regular basis. And it's not like that was Piranha's intention either. And I'm sure that if you really wanted to, you could pivot the boat around. And I'm sure I will be able to at some point once I get used to it, maybe once I get a little bit more meat on my bones, because I am on the absolute lower range of the weight range of the medium reactor as well. If I had a small, maybe things would be different. And back to what I was saying about the tapered stern, it really inspires you confidence in it paddling like a full creek boat, but I kind of had like a little encounter with a ledge hole and railroad, and I went in, and I kind of got surprised. And that's one thing that really caught me off guard. However, does that mean I don't like the boat? Absolutely not. It is the favorite boat that I've ever paddled. Does that mean I'm going to have to work on that and really learn how that boat reacts in those cases? Yeah, absolutely. But let's just be honest here, that's with any kayak. Let's talk outfitting. I am a little mind blown. Actually, that's a complete understatement. I am absolutely mind blown. I outfitted it this week while I was at home, and I'm gonna be honest, my kayak was inside my house, and every time I would walk by it, I would just sit in it for 2-3 minutes because it was just so comfortable. Once everything is snug and you're really tight in your boat, it is quite the kayak to be sitting in. I had a Mochno before as well, and I can say that it's a significant improvement of outfitting. I'm excited to take it on longer runs because the longest I've sat in this thing was maybe 45 minutes, and that was like today. And 45 minutes isn't really enough to get you cramping or anything, so I'd be curious to see what 3-4 hours in the boat would feel like in the reactor, and I'm sure it would be a lot more pleasant experience than some other kayaks that I've paddled before. Another thing that I'm really surprised wasn't on any other kayaks I've seen before is the shoulder pads. I'm a small guy, I've always paddled bigger boats, and carrying my kayak was always my nemesis. I struggle to carry my boat, and I think this is just going to be an absolute game changer for me, especially with runs with hike-ins and stuff. I have a backpack system, but sometimes the hike-in's just a little too short for it, but it's still a pretty long hike. So I think this is where I'm going to absolutely love the shoulder pads, and I can set the thing right on my collarbone. Like, I tested it in my house, and I can set it directly. Usually I always try to shoulder it here so it hurts less, but I can set it directly on my collarbone, and I feel like I could hike with it on my collarbone for as long as my muscles allow me to, which is pretty crazy. And it's such an easy thing to implement into a kayak that I'm surprised I haven't seen it before, but props to Piranha for doing that. I will really enjoy it. So now, let's talk about other miscellaneous elements that I've kind of seen on the boat. So, my two favorite things in kayaking is launching waves and skipping over booths. And I'm going to say right now, the Reactar does these things extremely well. There's not a lot of booths on the Ottawa, but the few of them that I have seen, I just came flying out the bottom of them with a lot of momentum, and that's something that gets me extremely excited for creek season and other rivers like the Seven Sisters section, because I know that when I take this boat on the Sisters, I'm likely to just absolutely fly out the base of these drops, and I'm really looking forward to that. And launching waves, it's really, really easy to launch, probably because it's a really fast boat with a fair amount of rocker, so it really rides up onto the wave, and if you give it that input that it's asking for, you can just climb up the face of that wave and just go absolutely flying. And because it's narrower, it's also easier to wave whip, which is one of my favorite things because I can't kickflip, and I don't really tend to do kickflips that much. So I love wave whips, and I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to wave whip. Yeah, honestly, I have 95% good things to say about this kayak, and the little flaws that I did find out about the boat, that I did talk about to you guys, they're all things that I can learn and build on when it comes to this boat, and they're not things that make me necessarily dislike it, and they're also not features that I would want to change on the boat. I think that's just how it was designed, that's how it was built, and it was made for a very aggressive paddling style. And by that I mean maybe not the way I've necessarily been paddling for the last few years, and it's definitely a style of paddling that I'm going to learn with this kayak. So I'm not too worried about those either. That's just little things that definitely influence my paddling experience. So I'm really stoked on this boat, and I'm really excited to take it on bigger whitewater, longer runs, and especially warmer runs too, because the last couple times I've tested it, it was well into the sub-zeros, and we always came off with frozen PFDs. So I'm excited to take it like to the Moose when it's warmer, or to the Seven Sisters, or other adventures are waiting for me. So yeah, thanks for watching this. I decided to put both the pet footage and the Ottawa footage together because I just figured it's a nice side-by-side comparison of how it reacted in big water versus how it reacted in small water. And even though there's been a week of spanning time between the two, I think I'm just going to mash it all into one episode for you guys. It's going to be a bit of a longer one, but I think it's going to be a pretty good one. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Consider liking and subscribing. Also, as a side note, I have officially been doing YouTube for a year now, and I've really been appreciating what it's been bringing to me. And I think I have more than friends and family now that are subscribed, now that I have over 200 subscribers, so thanks for that, guys. I really appreciate the support. Yeah, this is kind of all I have to say for tonight. And basically, to sum up everything I said, I'm really stoked on this boat. I'm really glad I bought it. And I can't wait to paddle it some more. It could be limited with winter season coming, but, you know, worst case scenario, I take it out in the spring again, and yeah. Alright, guys. Peace out.